Southwest Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai engages collaboration with the Diocese of Buea for the success of the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Buea. He was speaking with the Bishop, His Lordship Michael Bibi, this Thursday at his office. Over 8,226 examiners are ready to begin the process of marking the 2024 session of the GCE examination. The launching exercise took place this Thursday at Balingwa Grammar School in Moliko, Buea. And in sports, Cameroonians are aggrieved losing one of their finest former footballer, 38-year-old Landry Safak Ngemu. He crashed into a truck in Obala from Yaoundé en route his native west region and died on the spot. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. Those were the headlines for tonight's newscast. Their full readouts and more will be yours in a moment. Southwest Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai has committed himself to fully engage his efforts in ensuring the success of the 75th anniversary of Buea Diocese. During a meeting today at his office, the Bishop of Buea, His Lordship Michael Bibi, presented to him the official calendar for the year-long Jubilee celebration as the Chief Executive of the region, giving the magnitude of the events. Reverend Father Martin Jemoka gives us insights into this meeting that took place early this June 27, 2024.
Diocese of Buea.
Good news, I am with you always.
2025 is near, barely 6 months when the diocese would have clocked 75 years of existence. Being the oldest in Cameroon, the Christian population of Buea, under its bishop, His Lordship Michael Bibi, are doing all for a memorable event. The peak event takes place Thursday on April 25th, 2025. Within the course of the Jubilee year launched since April 24th, 2024, there are many activities programmed by the diocese. Amongst the events will be the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon's annual seminar from the 4th to the 11th of January 2025. Another high point will be the dedication of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral by all the bishops of Cameroon. Given the magnitude of these events, the Bishop, His Lordship Michael Bibi, this June 27th, made an official visit to Southwest Governor Bernard Okala. The prelate was received alongside his Vicar General, Father Jude Mbi, his priest, Father James Starr, and members of his communication team. During the discussions, Governor Okala was handed a copy of the anniversary calendar. As a practicing Catholic himself, he expressed excitement over the upcoming Jubilee and promised the local ordinary his total support to fully celebrate this milestone journey of the mission. He also didn't miss the chance to appreciate the bishop for his enormous support in fostering development in the Diocese of Buea, emphasizing on the crucial role the church plays in assisting the saints. At the end of this visit, that lasted over 30 minutes, Bishop Michael Bibi blessed the governor and encouraged him for his service to the people he leads in the Southwest region. Note should be taken to the fact that the peak celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Buea is built for April 24th, 2025.
The installation of the tabernacle and the crucifix have successfully been installed at the center of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Moliko in Buea. This tabernacle will serve as a reserve for consecrated hosts, which will be used by the Christians for adoration and worship. Joseph Otop has details of this story.
It was on June 4, 2024, that Christians of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Parish Moliko, together with their parish priest, Reverend Father Frank Bayong, welcomed the tabernacle to the parish after successful contributions by pilgrims and Christians of goodwill in the Diocese of Buea. With efforts from the parish priests, Christians and the bishop, it is with gladness that this tabernacle and a crucifix has been successfully installed at the center of the church this June 26, 2024. Just like every other tabernacle and crucifix in every parish, these will serve a great need to the Christians of this parish.
The tabernacle makes me so happy because I know the importance of the tabernacle in the life of the church. You know, the Eucharist is the centrality of our faith. In fact, it is the source and summit of our faith. Without the Eucharist, there is no priesthood. So the Eucharist is so important that without the Eucharist, the church cannot even exist. And the tabernacle is the place where the Eucharist is stored. That is where the Eucharist is kept. And it makes me happy because as you must have noticed, when we come here for diocesan celebrations, and even when we know we have our normal parish masses, we always bring the Blessed Sacrament from elsewhere. And sometimes it's very cumbersome because, you know, we have to pay adequate respect and honor due to the Blessed Sacrament. So you cannot just move up and down with the Blessed Sacrament. It has to have a house where it is reserved. So I'm very happy that finally that dream has come true. We are going to have the tabernacle installed in our parish, and I can imagine that there is great joy in heaven because Jesus Christ will be kept, Jesus Christ will be preserved, so that Christians can always first of all come for adoration. They can always come to the church anytime for adoration. Secondly, the sacraments will be kept in the tabernacle. And then thirdly, that sacrament will also be given to Christians who cannot come to church because they are sick during communion of the sick and visitation of the sick.
Christians of this parish express their profound gratitude to God, the bishop, and all contributors.
We, the Christians of this Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral, we are extremely happy and thankful to God in the first place, and to our Lord Bishop and all those who have made it possible for this tabernacle to reach us today. Now we know that we have a church because we had a hall. With the presence of the tabernacle and Christ always present there, we can come and pray every time and continue to work for the glory of God.
We, the Christians of Co-Cathedral, and all the Christians are very, very happy to receive this tabernacle, long waited. We never knew we will have a tabernacle here when we heard about the price. But what God has done to us is just to say thank Him. We have to thank Him. We give many thanks to God and to our Papa Bishop who spearheaded this tabernacle to be brought today.
I really want to give God glory for today. First and foremost, that a dream has finally come true. Secondly, that we are able, He has given us the grace for us to witness this particular day. We want to thank everybody, all members of Buea Diocese, including even those that are out and even our friends. But more especially, we want to thank the bishop and also the parish priest. First of all, for their concern for the spirituality of our church and the church in the diocese. I want to say that this tabernacle, knowing what Blessed Sacrament the tabernacle is, and being one person who has done a novena to the Blessed Sacrament and knowing what it is, I think it will go a long way to bring a lot of Christianity, bring Christians back.
The presence of this tabernacle, it affirms the doctrine of transubstantiation, which is the belief that bread and wine changed to the body and blood of Christ continues to be present even after Mass is concluded.
Discussions and possibilities for parishes in the Diocese of Buea to have shares with the regional parish finance with acronym REPAFIN constituted the main focus of the General Assembly meeting held yesterday, 26th of June 2024. The meeting that took place at the Bishop Pius Our Memorial Pastoral Center had in attendance the Bishop of Buea, priests, heads of institutions and Christians with aim at also creating awareness about that diocesan financial structure. From our newsroom, Jamilatu Tontang attended the General Assembly meeting. Let's meet her for details.
The General Assembly meeting of Repathim that took place at the Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center, Moliko, Boya, brought together different institutional heads, priests, and some members of the various Catholic Church and other institutions. The meeting, which was convened by His Lordship Bishop Michael Bibi, started at exactly 10 a.m. and a session of meditation, as it is the culture of the Catholic body each time they gather. His Lordship Bishop Michael Bibi read to the hearing of everyone a proposed number of shares the various parishes should acquire from the microfinance organ Repathim, ranging from 10 shares right up to 300 shares. He equally took out time to explain to the understanding of those that are novices, while encouraging the different parish priests to look into their coffers reserves and open up shares for the church that will in turn reproduce mighty profits to their respective parishes. Catching up with the General Manager of Repathim, Madame Joyce Eneke Bisson, she shared her view on the purpose of the meeting held.
The purpose of the General Assembly meeting was actually to sensitize and create more awareness amongst parishes and institutions that Repathim PLC is now in existence. And because they will form a core of this microfinance, needs to also help us sensitize to Christians in their parishes to know about Repathim PLC.
The opinions of the other parish priests and the institutional heads in the view of the meeting and the aspect of shareholding by parishes was not left out.
Parishes will really benefit from the shares because the money which we put into the shares will not be reimbursed to you. You only be benefiting from the interest that that money is producing.
So with this share, it will come a long way. If we are able to raise 10 million for our share, we know that we are going to be part of it.
The meeting saw its close after the opportunity given for question and answer sessions, proposals, and announcements. Meanwhile, there's room for deliberations on what was discussed at the meeting, and the various priests and institution heads look forward for the next session of deliberation and possible decisions arrived at.
At the end of the meeting, we talked with other attendees who shared with us their thoughts and visions of Repathim for their various parishes and institutions. Let's hear them out.
I'm Father Pascal Siden, the principal of CUIB Entrepreneurial High School. Today we just finished with the General Assembly for Repathim, and the Bishop convened all the parish priests and heads of institutions of the Diocese of Boya so that we brainstorm on the way forward for Repathim, that is Regional Purchase Microfinance, that will serve us our financial house in the Diocese of Boya. And I think that the presentation of the Bishop about shares, distribution of shares, is a very good idea that will solve the problem of financial sustainability of our institutions. Because as a parish, you must also think of the future. You know, you cannot just eat now and forget about tomorrow. That is, we must always pay attention to growth, and it helps us to invest. So all these ideas of shares and all those things is like investing our money so that you can heal more money.
Barrister Lifanje Cosmas Moki is my name. I'm the chairperson of the Co-Cathedral Parish. We were invited to this General Assembly of the Diocesan Microfinancial Institution, which His Lordship Bishop Bibi had put in place. Amongst the things we have discussed today, the Bishop has made a presentation of the objectives of the microfinancial institution. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to cut down the stress which parishioners are going through making too many contributions. You see, the financial world is a different business world. If the parishes actively participate in running this, our financial institution, the Christians, we are going to make a lot of money with the dividends will cut down contributions which parishioners are making.
And that's a lawyer. Of course, the meeting that we have called and so most of the issues that where maybe other banks to join or credit union have come to us. So we are now the foundation and also the shareholders are looking so that we lessen the expenditure and the burden of Christians in this aspect of finance institution. The shares now, as the bishop said, is not owned by any priest but for the diocese and parishes.
The 2024 marking session of the GCE has been launched during the official event that took place today at Balungwa Grammar School, Boya. The representative of the Minister of Secondary Education, Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai, encouraged the examiners to put in every effort to ensure that the credibility of the examination is upheld. Jude Mbakumonyo was at the launching session earlier this morning and now provides details for us in this report.
The practicals and written phase of the Cameroon General Certificate of Education Examinations (GCE) is over. Compilation of the scripts is also done, and now is the marking phase. 8,226 is the number of seasoned examiners that will be marking the scripts of the over 198,000 candidates who sat the examinations in grammar, technical and commercial during the launching ceremony here in Boya this June 27, 2024 at the Balungwa Grammar School, Moliko. The examiners turned out in their numbers to take measure resolutions in the marking process. Welcoming these teachers who had come from far and near to the college for this exercise, the principal noted that the past dues owed the examiners had been cleared and invigilation fees also increased this year to 1,500 francs, a development which examiners appreciate. In his capacity as a Chief Executive Officer of the Southwest Region and representative of the Minister of Secondary Education, Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai took out time to conscientize the examiners on their responsibility, emphasizing on professionalism.
On behalf of Madame the Minister of Secondary Education, we officially launch the 2024 marking session of the General Certificate of Education Examination (GCE). As you are more than adequately aware in your capacities as certified professionals in this domain, the marking exercise constitutes the last one phase of the entire examination process, which has already witnessed the organization of the practical and written components.
Concerned about the credibility of the English-speaking subsystem of education, Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai enjoined the examiners to ensure stringent measures applied to avoid fraud and any form of malpractice.
They have the destiny of the Cameroonians of tomorrow, the Cameroon of tomorrow in their hand. Let their work permit the system to issue certificates to those who deserve the certificate. They should continue to do their work in a perfect manner to avoid any leakages or any fraud.
For this 2024 launch of the GCE marking session, stakeholders expressed determination with the visible presence of the board chair, Professor Leke Tambo, the Inspector General at the Ministry of Secondary Education, local administrative authorities, assessors, chief examiners and examiners. This marking process is expected to last over 2 weeks. Results of the GCE will be published on a later date as to be decided by the board's current interim registrar, Nzi Bernadette, and her team.
In sports, and on a rather sad note, 38-year-old international Cameroonian footballer Joel Landry Safak Nguemo has passed on. He died this Thursday, June 26th, and rode his native West region from the Central region when his Prado car collided with a truck at Obala after Yaoundé. Jude Mbaku tells us more.
Earlier this Thursday morning, reports say Joel Landry Nsafak Ngemo died on the spot at the scene in Obala, in the outskirts of Yaoundé, after colliding with a truck. Even before intervention, the footballer had died. Landry Ngemo's international football career lasted over a decade, from 2006 to about 2016. Apart from the Cameroon Indomitable Lions, Landry played for AS Nancy, Bordeaux, and Saint-Etienne in France. He also had a moment for the Scottish club Celtic Glasgow. He featured at the 2010 and 2014 World Cup for Cameroon's side, the Indomitable Lions, accumulating 41 caps and 3 goals. In 2020, Landry Ngemo enrolled for football coaching abroad. One of the last moments Landry Ngemo was seen publicly is on set with teammate Alexandra Song on the program Fufufoot on CRO TV, and equally with analysis of the just ended qualifier matches played by the Indomitable Lions. Landry Nsafa Ngemo hails from Chang in the West region. His impromptu departure leaves football fans, his family, and Cameroonians aggrieved for someone who worked his life out to defend the colors of the nation. We can only but say, rest in peace, Landry Nsafa Ngemo.
Il y a des gens qui analysent mieux les situations que d'autres, donc ça c'est le genre de parler. C'est peut-être des cadres, oui, mais un jeune, il peut parler, un jeune peut me replacer, un jeune peut me donner un conseil. Ça, je l'accepte volontiers.
To news out of Cameroon, authorities in Congo have approved 2 pox vaccines to combat pox surge in the country, especially in the South Kivu province. Meanwhile, police clash with protesters in Kenya as military patrols the streets against a contentious finance bill. Also, Russian and Congolese leaders talks in Moscow to strengthen ties between the two countries. Courtesy of African News, Nadesh May expounds on these stories.
Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have approved the use of 2 mpox vaccines in response to a significant rise in cases in the spread of a dangerous new strain. Since the start of last year, Congo was seeing over 20,000 cases of mpox, leading to more than 1,000 deaths, especially children. Mpox, a viral infection, spread through close contacts, presents flu-like symptoms, and can lead to push-feel-lesson, with severe cases proving fatal. The World Health Organization and scientists issued warnings about the spreading in Congo's South Kivu province. It should be recalled that Congo reported its first human case of smallpox in 1970, but has never had widespread access to vaccines for the treatment for the disease outside clinical trials. Kenya police on Thursday clashed with protesters in Nairobi before planned protests against a contentious finance bill, despite the president's decision not to sign it, after the plan sparked in the capital and saw protesters storming and burning parts of the parliament building. The protesters, who said last week that they would march to the State House on Thursday, say they still don't trust President William Ruto, who has said the tax hikes would be withdrawn and budget cuts would be made. Russian President Vladimir Putin welcomed his Congolese counterpart Denis Sassou in Kremlin on Thursday. Sassou is the latest African leader to visit Moscow, which is to step up ties with African nations since 2022. The Russian leader praised Sassou's contribution to developing Russia-Congolese ties.
You took part in 2 Russia-Africa summits, and you're making the necessary efforts to develop our cooperation in almost all areas. I mean the political level, and recently trade and economic relations have been noticeably developing.
The Congolese leader has been in Russia since Tuesday. This trip is expected to culminate in the signing of agreements on energy, trade and security cooperation. The Russian president also awarded Sesu with an Order of Honor for his contributions to developing Russia-Congolese ties.
That report rounds off Divine Mercy Primer. Prior to us parting ways, let's review the headlines once more. Southwest Governor Bernard Okala-Bilai engages collaboration with the Diocese of Buea for the success of the 75th anniversary of the diocese. He was speaking with the Bishop, His Lordship Michael Bibi, this Thursday at his office. Over 8,226 examiners are ready to begin the process of marking the 2024 session of the GCE. The launching exercise took place this Thursday at Balingwa Grammar School in Moliko Buea. And in sports, Cameroonians are aggrieved losing one of their finest former footballer, 38-year-old Landry Safak Ngemu. He crashed into a truck in Obala from Yaoundé en route his native West region and died on the spot. Thank you for watching Divine Mercy Primer. Stay tuned for more beautiful, educative and interesting programs at DMR TV. I have been Father Alphonse Wongibe Fonye. While wishing you a restful evening, we say remain glued to DMR TV, for up next we shall have Mountain Echoes. Have a restful night.